March 1st, 2018. From El Cajon, California, this is episode 148 of You Can Bet on That. Hi, everybody. Welcome to You Can Bet on That, a podcast for the recreational gambler. My name is Mark Duvall, and sitting across from me is Dr. Mike.
Hello.
Can you hear me, Mike?
I can hear you.
You can hear me okay?
I can hear you
Listeners,
fine.
can you hear us?
Hello?
Oh, man. I'll tell you, on that last episode...
McFly? Hello?
Hello? Hello?
McFly?
The last episode, I downloaded it onto my laptop and, pulled it up in the editor, and it's like, oh, no. What's wrong? And I got physically ill. You know that feeling when you've forgotten something or you've messed something up, or you've written your term paper and then you look for it on the computer and it's gone. So
It's everyone's dream, It never really happens in real life until it happens.
It is right. That's right. It's going to class, the class that you've never been to, and it's the final.
Right. The guy's asking a question, you have no clue.
So I still don't know exactly what happened. Something with connection. You know what I need to do? Maybe I'll buy some more equipment so that I have a backup, so that it's actually recording twice. Just in case this happens again.
That'd be good.
That's what I'll do. Yeah,
Yeah,
next time.
that'd be
So
good.
Anyway, I think we're all set here, and we're going to get to a couple of the phone calls we missed.
The sad thing is that was probably one of our best episodes.
I know.
Ever.
I thought.
I mean, the stuff that was lost was wonderful.
It is funny because whenever we're done recording, I always think, "Oh God, was that episode any good?" And last time I thought, that was a good one. I thought that was pretty good.
I did too. And actually, some of the stuff that was left out was pretty good.
Oh well, we'll move on. So hopefully we're back to normal. Well, this last football season, we entered a 33 pool that our buddy Ed from New York put together. And we've talked about these 33 pools before, but here's basically how it works. There's no skill involved.
Which is good for us.
Very good. You basically enter this pool and you're assigned a team or teams. And if your team or one of your teams scores exactly 33 points in a game, then you win this pool.
Right.
The idea being that 33 is kind of a strange number to hit in the NFL.
It seemed anyway that it used to be a lot harder to do.
It seems like it's happening more,
right.
But the sample size is so small. Who can? But you're right, and the rules change every year, so that could influence it too.
Right. Well, field goal or extra points are further back,
right.
So there's missed ones. So then they go for two because they're trying to make up for the stuff they lost, and sometimes they get the two, sometimes they don't. So you end up with different scores. It used to be the extra point was almost a guarantee.
Yes.
Right. And very few times would a team go for two unless at the end of the game they really needed those 2 points.
Yes.
But now it seems like they go for it a lot more.
Yeah, because they have to make up for the extra point that they lost on
missed,
the
right.
last touchdown. Well, anyway, the 33 pool, it's very simple. You're assigned a team, and there are different ways to do it. You can be assigned your team at the beginning of the season, and that's the team you have through the whole season. The way that Ed did it was he randomly assigned teams to everybody each week. So your team was different. Yeah, mix it up a little bit.
Yeah, because some teams might be low scoring and other ones might be high scoring, and 33 is never going to be in their click, right?
That's true, yeah.
But if you randomize it, then eventually you're going to get a team that maybe scores averages 28 or 30 points a game.
Yes. In Ed's pool, there were 32 entrants. You and I counted as one entry.
Yeah.
As long as you have...
As usual.
Yeah, as long as you have a power of two. So you could have 32 players, or you could have 16 players where everybody gets 2 teams,
right.
Or 8 players where everybody gets 4 teams, et cetera. But in this case, there were 32 entries. And the fee for each week was $10. And the idea is that if your team gets exactly 33 points, you win the pool. But if no team gets 33 points in a week, it carries over. So the next week it'll be twice as much. And then if nobody gets 33, then it'll be 3 times as much. And that's the way that it goes. So $10 each week. Now this last year,
$320
in
entry fee. So you get 3 weeks, carries over, you're looking at close to $1,000.
Yeah, exactly. So that's when
nice.
You really want to hit it.
Right.
This year, 256 games. Teams scored exactly 33 points 13 times.
Yeah, okay.
So not quite once a week. So we did have some carryovers. And I think there was at least one week where 2 teams scored.
Right.
And so the pot was split.
Right.
Well, Ed came up with this really great idea where if at the end of the season, that 17th week, nobody wins, he would take everything that was still in the pool and go to Atlantic City and bet it all on a hard 6, 3-3.
I thought you were going to say something else.
Like what?
Well, go to Atlantic City and
Oh, okay. And then spend it on booze and blow and
party and everything.
No, so his idea was bet it on a hard 6 because that's 33, right? 3-3, right? Well, this last season, he suggested that we all contribute a little bit more to the entry fee.
Right.
So that if somebody does win in week 17, he can still go to Atlantic City and bet this hard 6.
I like that.
Right.
I love that.
That worked out to be an additional $2 per week.
Right.
So the entry fee for everybody was $204.
Yeah. Which, you think about that over the course of a football season. If you're in pools or something, that's not a lot of money.
It's not, exactly. Well, $10 a week. That's right. Well, $12 a week in this case.
$12.
Right. So as it turns out, nobody did win in week 17. Somebody won in week 16.
Okay.
But nobody won in week 17. So there was still money in the pool, plus all that extra that we paid. So Ed was able to go to Atlantic City with $1,400
That's a lot of money.
to bet on a hard 6.
Right.
And he chose the Borgata because that's like the place in Atlantic City. First, he checked to make sure that they would book a single bet on a hard 6 of $1,400.
Right.
Because a lot of places, they won't take that much on prop bets like that.
Right.
There's a max.
Oh, yeah. Well, here it's Harris, Southern California. It's $300.
Right, 300. Right. So, but it turns out that they would take it. So Ed headed out to Atlantic City with some friends. And he waited until the dice came around to him. People weren't really rolling all that well, but waited until the dice came around to him. And he looked at his buddies and they kind of all agreed, okay, this is when we do it. This is when we bet the hard 6. So Ed rolled and he established a point of 8. And then he handed in 14 black chips, $1,400 to have them put it on a hard 6. Now, I don't think I've ever seen that much bet on a hard 6. I think I've seen $1,000.
I know I've seen 1,000, maybe not 1,400.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
a lot.
That's a lot. Right. I mean, even people parlaying, I don't know that I've seen over 1,000.
Getting that much. So, of course, it's drawing a lot of attention to the table and everybody's all excited. Oh, wow, $1,400 hard 6.
Meanwhile, he's got like a $12 8.
Right, that's right. Yeah. Press my people 6 up 1 unit.
This 18. Guy, he's betting like $12, and then all of a sudden he's got a $1,400 hard 6. He must know something, right? I mean, I'd be thinking, what is going on?
So they pass the dice to Ed, and he rolls them. And one of the dice he can see lands on 3, but the other one is obscured from his view. He cannot see it. And they call out hard 6.
Wow.
He hit the hard 6.
That is awesome.
It pays 9-1. So he took the bet down. So now he's got $14,000, right? Because he took it down. So
he's got his winnings plus the $1,400.
So $14,000 on just one roll of the dice.
Yeah.
And then he tipped all the dealers and spread the wealth around. And of course, everybody was excited. I can just imagine what that must have been like, right? It must have been so exciting just to make the bet.
Yeah.
But then to actually hit it. So now each entry into that pool is getting $435.
Nice.
So even
more than they paid for the year.
Yes, even if you didn't win, which we did not. We did not win any of the 33s during the season.
We still doubled our money.
Yes, more than double our money. Yes.
Yeah, that's sweet.
Thank you, Ed, again for doing that.
Yeah, and seriously, it's great of Ed to, I mean, I know he likes to go to Atlantic City. Mm-hmm. It's not that big a chore, but it's nice that, he takes the time to do that and go there and everything.
Yeah.
And, somebody asked us about, well, do you trust him?
Oh, God.
Yeah. And we're like, yeah, trust him.
He's a former New York cop. We've met him.
Yeah.
He's he's an online presence. He's emailing everybody. Yeah, we trust him.
But it was funny. They just because they're thinking, well, you just take your money and go, oh, I lost.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
I'm like, no,
oh, that's true.
Him.
Yeah, he could have done that. Well, he took buddies. Well, of course we trust Ed. I hope Ed's doing well too. He had some health issues here recently, but we're glad that he's out and about. Seems to have recovered
I hope that
nicely.
Perked him up.
Yeah, really good.
You know what, Ed? You know what he should have done? He should have just take me down and then place them all for $2. all the
hard ways $2.
Yeah.
Right? And if one of them hits press, do you mean parlay, sir? No, just press.
Just press $2. It's funny because the dealers probably, I'm sure he must have told them. They probably figured, what's going on.
Yeah,
there.
he probably explained it to him what was happening. Yeah.
But it'd be funny just take it. Yeah, just give me $8.
That's right. Well, again, thanks, Ed. So another story. Now, this past weekend, a bunch of podcasters and bloggers and gambling enthusiasts met up at Caesars Windsor in Ontario, Canada. It's less than a half hour from Detroit, just on the other side of the border.
Okay.
And Adam, a.k.a. Vegas Fanboy, who has a new podcast called Travel Fanboy, and who's going to be at Zorkfest with us, he was one of the people who attended. Now, apparently he was playing Pai Gow poker, and he was dealt a 7-card straight flush.
Yeah.
Ace 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Wow.
Right, in a row. No joker.
Right.
You know, a natural
Natural
7-card straight flush. About a 1 in 4.8 million chance of happening.
Okay.
Okay, so pretty unusual.
And let me guess. It turns out the shoe was not shuffled, and they were just in order. He got Ace 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of hearts.
Right, and the next guy got 8, 9, 10, Jack, Queen. Yeah. No, that wasn't the case.
Oh, okay,
Apparently,
okay.
it was correctly shuffled. Well, there's a side bet that you can make at this Pai Gow table that will pay if you make a certain hand. I don't know exactly what the side bet was, but it probably would pay if you made, say, a full house or better.
Right.
Something like that.
Usually it's something
Right.
like that, yeah.
And if he had made the side bet, which he did not, it would have paid 2,500 to 1.
Wow.
And Mike, you and I were talking about this. There's a similar bet out here at Harrah's Southern California and a lot of other casinos,
Right.
where it's a progressive jackpot, and it's just a $1 bet. And if you get this 7-card straight flush, even if it has a joker,
Right. You get the jackpot.
you get the jackpot. And we've seen the jackpot up over $300,000.
Oh, yes. Remember, somebody won it a while back, and it was well over 300,000.
Yeah. But he did not make the side bet. Now, he was getting a little grief online, but I want to jump to his defense. Like me, he's not a side bet player. I mean, to me, that's a good thing. The side bets generally have a high house edge, and they can really eat up your bankroll.
Right.
Now, you know, you like making the side bets, and there's nothing wrong with people who want to make side bets too. For
Yeah.
some people, that's all the fun.
Right.
They're
Yeah.
not really interested so much in the regular hand. They want to.
Well, the regular
hit
hand's
those
kind of
big ones.
boring in Pai Gow.
That's right. That's right. So play however you want, but you know, I support Adam in this, and he did not seem upset about it. And online, he even said that there were some people at the table who had made the same bet, and they won the envy.
Right.
You know, if you make a bet and somebody else wins, even if they didn't make the bet,
you win the envy bet.
you still win the envy. And I guess they tipped him.
Oh, that's
so at least that was good. So anyway, Adam, don't make any more side bets. That's
and in your
in the
mind,
long run.
in your mind, just pretend that it was a screw up with the shoe and it wasn't shuffled.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have counted anyway.
That's right.
I say, I wouldn't. That'd be my story. Adam should have just said, no, it was a screw up in the shoe. It wouldn't have been paid anyway.
Yeah, it's a good thing I didn't make the bet. They would have gone to the camera. It would have been.
it would have been.
yeah.
We wouldn't have paid that anyway.
That's right. Well, the good news is he did win the hand,
Good. No, I hope so.
which is not guaranteed because he's playing ace 7 in the 2-card hand.
Right,
He's playing
right.
a straight flush in the 5-card hand, but the best 2 cards, ace 7, he's putting
Ace-7.
up there, right? And that's certainly not a guaranteed win.
I'd have played 6-7 and go for the higher straight flush.
That's right.
Keep that ace down there, just in case.
Just in case, the dealer, right? Because an ace 2, 3, 4, 5 is actually a higher straight flush in Pai Gow poker than 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I was talking to Vito about that on his show recently about that weird thing in Pai Gow where ace 2, 3, 4, 5 is actually the second best straight.
Yeah, because it's got
behind
an ace in it.
10 Jack, Queen, King, Ace because it has an ace in it.
Yeah, he should have done that and then just tell people, and I didn't win the hand either. Push. It's a push.
That actually would have been a better story.
Yeah, it would've been
I didn't make any money on.
Yeah,
on
I
the
didn't
bet.
even win the hand. Well, he could have actually pushed because, if the dealer had ace king and a pair of twos,
a lot of
pair of twos, ace king.
That's right. There's no way that it's a guarantee. Well, whenever you do this to me, when it's you and me and your dad, and we'll be playing 3-card poker, and I never make that side bet, and then invariably I'll be dealt like a straight flush or something.
Hey, you're always the one.
You're always giving me a hard time. Here's what I want you to do. Okay, I want you to compliment me every time I don't make the bet and I wouldn't have won.
Okay.
Every single time. Yeah,
okay.
every time.
Oh, nice no side bet.
That's right.
Nice no side bet, Mark.
Nice no side bet.
I'll tell you what. Now, tell the truth. When you told me this story, we were in the car heading up to Harrah's when you first heard about it, and you were telling me the story, and I said, well, it's smart he doesn't make that bet because he doesn't play that much Pai Gow, and over the life of his Pai Gow career, he's probably going to be ahead not making the side bet.
Well, of course.
Because that side bet would eat him up.
Maybe not ahead, but he's not going to be behind as much.
But he's not going to be behind as much.
Yes,
exactly.
Right.
Right.
Oh, well, of
Where
course.
like someone like me who's never actually won a big side bet like that and always makes it, I guarantee you I've lost money. I mean, I'm way down on side bets.
You have to go with the math. You can't say, well, Adam, if you'd made this bet, you'd probably be up for side bets for the rest of your life. You can't think that way.
No, you can't think that way.
No.
You got to think the other way, that because I don't make that side bet, I've lost way less than I should.
Exactly. And that's what I think of when I stare at you.
Okay. That's what you're thinking. You're not thinking, what a doofus.
Speaking of things that aren't fair, we went out to Harrah's a couple Saturdays ago, and they were having a reward credits multiplier. It was a mystery multiplier.
Yep.
And what you do before you go in is you slide your card, and you were guaranteed like 5 times multiplier.
Right,
or
everyone
something
would
like
get
that.
at least 5 times.
So I slid my card
Up to 50. The max
Was it
you
up
could
to
get
50? Okay.
50, 50.
Yeah, and I don't know how they determine. Maybe it's random. I don't know how they determine it. But
it's not random.
But it's not random.
No.
All right. Well,
there's some nozzle in the back who determines who gets what.
All right. Well, then explain this to me, sir. You're a higher roller than I am. I got 15 times multiplier. What'd you get?
I got 12.
Yeah. How do you
12.
figure that?
I was so mad. I was looking at Mark gets 15. I get 12. There's some nozzle in the back who determines all that. He's just some guy. I'm going to call him a nozzle.
Okay, all
and
right.
He sits there and, just like, this guy, he's watching you on a camera.
Oh.
This nozzle. Okay,
so
12 for him.
So maybe he had something against you. Maybe you treated him badly.
I'm going to go with that.
Okay, that's probably a good way to go.
Or it could just be a random computer thing.
Yeah.
But, it would suck if you're a 7-star, you go in and you get 5 times.
Yeah, that is a good point. I'm thinking that maybe your tier status does have something to do
I'm sure it
with how much
does.
you get.
It was probably a minimum of 12 for 7 stars.
I think you're probably right.
And you got a little extra because,
But, it's all voodoo. So, we don't know.
Yeah, they don't tell you anything like how that's determined.
No.
Same thing when they have these drawings and they give away $50,000 that same night. They're giving away $50,000.
Yeah. I mean,
And
it's probably on the up and up, but we have no way of knowing.
No. I mean, nobody has any way of knowing. Is this some computer thing? But they always do come up with a winner.
They do, and sometimes they come up with no winner, which sort of makes it seem like it really is random, because why would they draw a name for somebody who's not there? It's one of those where you have to be there to win.
Right.
And they'll draw the name, and then if 5 minutes goes by and nobody's claimed it, then they pick another name.
So they do give away the money. It's not like now if they picked a name and they weren't there and then that was it. Then I'd be thinking, wait a
What's
minute.
going on?
Yeah, what's going on here?
Yeah. One more thing to talk about. So there's a new casino that opened up in New York, Resorts World Catskills, opened on February 8th. We really have not heard much about it. If anybody goes there,
heard anything.
Yeah, if anybody goes there, let us know what it's like, and let us know if it's going to be a game changer for the whole Catskills region, which may have been struggling recently. It used to be the place where all the New Yorkers would go up and see entertainment
weekend,
and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So
go see Bob Hope and
or just, it's like a Shecky Green that's right, exactly.
Like that.
So let us know. Hey, thanks to everyone who's been clicking through our Amazon link. Remember, whenever you're going to buy something through Amazon, please go to our page first, youcanbetonthat.com, and click through our Amazon link towards the top of the page. All right, let's move on to our voicemail hotline. So the big chunk of the audio that we lost last week was a couple of phone calls. So those are going to be the first ones we get to here.
Okay. I'm trying to remember what we said.
I know. We're going to try to do it exactly like we did before. Remember, call our hotline at 951-292-4377. That's 9512-WAGERS.
9512-WAGERS.
And maybe we'll play your clip. So the first phone call that we missed last week was from Randy. Let's go.
Hey, Mark. This is Randy from North Texas. I just gave you a quick
Now, I just want to say that that was not audio problem. That was his phone call that dropped out for a little bit. All right. Okay. He's talking about Biloxi.
Biloxi Trip Report. Just about to get on the plane here. Came out for 3 days. The all tall small bets are all 150 in those places except for Imperial Palace and Scarlet Pearl. Whenever I asked some of the pit dealers about them, so it's been like that for like a year. One even had the gall to tell me that, the felt printers messed it up, but we're going to stay with this. Anyway, had a good trip out here. We were able to hit the all tall and small a few times. We were able to quadruple our bankrolls one night, which was really good. So we're going home with money in our pocket, and I had a great time. Wonderful place, good properties. Sometimes you get down to the south, y'all check it out. Thanks again. appreciate the podcast. Love what you do.
Okay, well, that explains why some of the all small, tall payouts are different. It was just a printing error.
Just a printing error. Yeah,
okay.
printing error.
I see.
Yeah, there's a lot of that goes on. You know, the 6 to 5 started off as a printing error.
Really?
Yes, and then they didn't return it, so the printer thought, well, that's so much easier to print than 3 to 2 or whatever. 6 to 5, it just you rattle it off.
Right,
so they just started printing it, and then the casinos just kept putting it out. That's why we got 6 to 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, I've never heard that story before, but it makes sense now.
No,
there's no other reason that they would have
Now
done
that you
it.
put it together, why else would a casino, go to double odds on their craps table, 6 to 5 on their blackjack, water down their beer? I mean, they water the beer down.
Well, what does that have to do with the printer? I don't.
It's printed right on the menu.
Watered down beer.
May not be 100% beer. It's down at the bottom somewhere there.
That's right, a little asterisk. It's hard to read, but it's there if you look for it.
Yeah, it's printers that have destroyed America.
Is that right?
Yeah. Our friend Paul's a printer.
Paul, isn't he a printer?
He's a printer. Yeah.
I'll put it on him. He's destroyed America in a lot of ways.
He's destroyed America.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh my God, at least Vegas. I love that printer. It's a printing error.
I know.
I mean, the guy's saying that to him, and does he think that, Randy was born like yesterday or something? Yeah, it's just a printing error. Don't worry about it. That'll change when the next printing comes out.
That's right. We're not going to spend money on a new felt hair. We just got this one. It's all worn.
Yeah, right. You can't return these things. They're specifically
Our logo's
printed.
on it. Yeah. All right. Here's the other call that we missed on the last episode from Keggers.
Hi, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Keggers from Minnesota. First-time caller, but love the podcast. You guys are a really good mix of being entertaining and informative. I really appreciate that, so keep up the good work. Headed to Vegas here in a couple weeks for a much-needed vacation with my wife and 2 other couples who are good friends of ours, between a promotion and a foster kid placed in our home. And Jeff and the family, we definitely need a break and some relaxation. So staying at Paris, but my buddies and I are starting to learn about crafts, and your podcast has been really helpful to learn about crafts and what to do, what not to do, what bets to make, what bets not to make. Dr. Mike, looking at you for that.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, seriously, I could definitely use some advice about things that you notice beginner craft players doing that they shouldn't do. Things like etiquette, definitely what bets to make, how to interact with the dealers and other players, when to take your chips, when not to, when to tip, when not to. I'm sure you guys covered most of these topics on previous podcasts, but definitely appreciate pointing me in the right direction to learn that stuff. Because of your podcast, I think I understand the mechanics of the game and generally how to play, but it's those other things that you can't learn without experience that I'm nervous about going. So thanks for all the work. I love the podcast. Keep it up, and really appreciate the answer to this. Thanks.
Now, unfortunately, Keggers has already gone on his trip to Vegas. If the phone call had actually come out correctly on the last episode, we could have
heard it.
Given him some of this advice up front. So, in fact, we'll actually hear from him later in the show about how his trip went.
Oh, good.
But let's still talk about this because this is kind of good information for people to know, people who are new to craps. One thing that I would suggest is when you go up to a table, just let the dealers know that you're new to the game.
Right.
Tell them how much you do know and just say up front, hey, this is my first time playing, maybe you can help me out.
That does 2 things. Number one, the dealers are usually happy to help you.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll feel freer to lend you advice or, guide you along. Plus also when if you did do something that maybe was wrong or you didn't bet the proper way, they don't get frustrated with you because they know you're learning then.
Right.
You're not just, some guy.
There are some dealers who, if you act like you know what you're doing and you really don't,
right,
they'll get mad. They shouldn't.
Yeah.
But it's like,
a little
and then
antsy.
they're not helpful because, you didn't ask for help. So
right.
I think it's good to do up front. Yes.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. The other thing is when you buy in, do not hand the dealers money. In fact, you can never exchange anything hand to hand from a dealer except maybe your player's card.
Yeah, just so nothing looks like you're cheating.
Yeah, so you have to put the money down on the table and then they pick it up. The eye in the sky can see it. Same with when they're giving you the chips. They're not going to hand you chips. They're going to push it toward you. That's another good thing too. When they're cutting out the chips for you, let's say you go to a table and you buy in. They're going to get all the chips ready for you. Don't reach over and grab for the chips. They will push them directly in front of you. And there's a tendency for new players to say, oh, he's cut them out. I see him. Those are mine. To kind of go out and grab. No, wait. He's going to push them towards you.
Yeah, because they'll wait for the pit to look at it and make sure. And another dealer on the table will usually look at it. Okay, yeah, that's $500. That way there's no problem if, guy gets his money and says, oh, I only got $480. Well, no, we counted it out. You had $500.
Yeah, and then,
there.
you can double check if there is a problem. Another thing, and this is just really etiquette, don't buy in the middle of someone's roll. So if a point has already been established and somebody's rolling, don't buy in at that point. Wait until either that shooter sevens out and the dice are passed, or at least until he's made the point and it's a new come-out
Yeah,
roll.
when there's a natural break. So like on a new come-out roll, there's a lot of stuff to do, pay people, collect. That's a good time to buy in. But, we just saw that Monday, right?
Mike, that's the thing, is that this is just etiquette. You can buy in the middle of people's rolls, and you see it all the time.
Oh.
And I can't tell you how often we see people getting angry at people buying in. Now, it doesn't mean that a seven's going to come up, anymore.
Well, the guy bought in Monday, and we're all like, oh, great. Right in the middle of a hot roll, he throws some money down on the table to buy in a couple $100.
Yeah.
And then the next point, the guy made the point.
Yeah.
So we're all like, oh, great.
It worked. So it doesn't matter. But one of the fun things about craps, especially if you're on a good roll, is maybe it's going fast.
Right.
And that's some of the excitement. And when they have to count out money and get out chips, then it slows the game down. So again, just try to avoid it, even though you will see people doing it. All right, another important thing, keep your hands away from the table when someone is shooting. So when the stick man has pushed the dice to the shooter, that is the casino's signal that they want the shooter to roll the dice right away.
Right. And that's not the time to have your hands down or to be making a bet.
No, that's the time to have hands up.
Yeah.
Now, if the dice hit your hands, they will call that roll. And if the roll happens to be a 7, then everybody's going to be furious and blame you for touching the dice.
Right.
They're going to
be more furious than they will be happy if it turns out to be the point or some good number.
Exactly. So keep your hands out of the table once the dice have been sent.
And also, if the shooter if you're walking up to a table and there's a guy rolling, try not to crowd the shooter.
That's true too, yes.
Because people will, they don't want the shooter to be disturbed. Now, that's, again, it's just an etiquette thing. Buy in somewhere else where there's a little more room or something, or just wait till the guy sevens out and then, make him move a little if you need space.
Right, yes.
But you don't crowd him.
That's a good one. Yeah, that's a good point. Now, as far as making bets go, we would certainly recommend for new players, just stick with the pass line, come bets, odds, place bets until you really get comfortable with the game. Just those basic bets that have the lower house edges. Now, as far as tipping goes, hey, tip whenever you like. The dealers love it, actually, if you make bets for them rather than just tossing them chips.
Sure.
Make a bet on the pass line for them or make a hard way bet for them. A very common way to do it is to say, give me a two-way hard 8. And you toss them $2.
Right.
That means that you're betting $1 for yourself and $1 for the dealers.
And I think we've talked about this before with tipping, but I always remember that one dealer telling me, said, hey, because I asked him, is it weird if somebody just tips you $1? Because you're thinking $1.
Yeah.
And, you're betting, maybe you have $100 in action and some guy puts $1. But he said that everybody who played, every hand of blackjack or every craps point, they just put $1 out there. He said we'd make tons of money.
Yep.
Because it's not their money. When they win, they get double it. When they lose, it's no big deal. Another. So betting $1 is fine.
Yeah, that's fine. So bet whenever you want. Although there are some people who are superstitious and think that if it's in the middle of a hot roll and you haven't been tipping and then suddenly you tip,
Yeah, you've changed something.
That's not like bad luck. So just be prepared for that.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't have any effect on it, but there might be some people at the table who will then blame you for, well, it's because you made a tip for the dealers.
Yeah,
So-
well, you should have said, you know, it didn't say on the felt no tipping. Maybe that's a printing error. Maybe there should be something there. No mid-shoot tipping.
That's right.
No mid-shoot tipping.
No
That's what
yeah, you got to tip on the come out roll,
Yeah,
sir.
sorry.
That's the only time you can do it. And then finally, this is a big no, and again, it's just superstition. Don't say the word 7.
Yeah, that's a
especially
big
if it's
one.
not the come out roll.
That's a big one.
Don't say 7. Now, of course, it doesn't matter, but that's a super.
Our good friend Seda came up to us once. We were at a table. This is not at the place where she's a dealer and she wasn't working. at
I
this
think
place.
I think we told this story.
We
but
told
go
that
ahead, yeah.
story, yeah. She wanted to say.
I said, "What time do you get off?" You know,
and
how
it turns out she got off at 7.
Right, 7 o'clock. Yeah.
So she couldn't say that. So she phrased it. How'd she phrase it?
She said, "Oh, I get off at 5 I don't know. She made some.
It was really smart the way she said it.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly how she said it.
She phrased it so that we knew the
we knew
answer
it was
was 7,
right?
But she didn't say 7.
Oh, you know what? It might have been military time. She might have said 1900.
Yeah. Oh, I think you're right.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think
that
she
was what
said
it was.
I get off at 1900 hours.
Well, people who've played the game a lot kind of know this superstition. In fact, our friend Vince, who plays out at the casino,
Right.
we were talking to him recently. He was telling a story, and it was in the middle of a roll. So he was telling a crap story, but he never said the word 7.
No.
He would say, yeah, and after 5 minutes, out.
Yeah.
You know, he would just say out.
Out. Every time
Instead
it
of
was a 7 out, he would just say
He would
out.
just say the word out.
Oh, and then it was the out.
Yeah,
you
that
know?
was it. So then that way, you're not breaking the superstition.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's my new thing.
What's that?
I'm just never going to say 7 ever again.
Really?
It's just out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
it's just out.
Isn't your birthday on the 7th?
My birthday's February out.
Okay. All right. That sounds good.
Yeah, my birthday's February out, if anyone wants to know.
All right. Very good. Okay. Let's move on to new phone calls now. First up is Danny.
Hey guys, it's Danny from Houston. I just wanted to call about my recent Vegas trip over Super Bowl weekend. Go Eagles. Honestly, I'm not a football guy, but I hate New England like everybody else should. And it was amazing. My friend John had tickets to the VIP party hosted by the D in Golden Gate in their downtown event center. So we went into the private tent with free booze and food, and they had football squares at different levels. And yeah, it was a good time. They had big screens set up, and he actually managed to get tickets for the 4 of us in the group, and we enjoyed it a lot. I might have enjoyed one too many little plastic footballs filled up with whiskey, and maybe something else. I don't know. There was a lot of whiskey. But we had a good time. But right before we went in there, I said, you know what? I had won some money earlier. I said, I'm going to put $200 down on Philadelphia. What the hell? And then I brought the ticket home. Luckily, I'm going back for Zorkfest, hopefully, but if I don't go before then, I'll send it with somebody to make sure that gets cashed in. Woo! I did want to offer a point of clarification. So last year I made Diamond at about August 2017, and I used my celebration credit of $100 in November. And so when we went in February, it was right at the end of that Diamond year, but then they give you that other year on till 2019. And he said you can use it again. And I didn't believe him, so we actually bet on it because we're both gamblers. When we're at the lake at Hash House A Go-Go, and he said, let's go down to the Total Rewards Desk and check it out. Sure enough, they gave us another celebration dinner credit. And so we've got it at Link, but we both used it at Caesars. So I know you said you have to get it at the property that you're going to use it at. But I guess maybe in Vegas that's different, but we used it on the Bacchanal buffet. So I thought that was cool that you actually get 2 celebration dinner credits. You might want to look into that, especially for 7-star. And the last thing I wanted to say was a little complaint. We stayed at Cosmo the first part of the trip, and they had a promo, I think it was called Spin to Win, where you played on certain slot machines at the front of the casino that had a little label with this promo on it. If you got 1,000 points, a little screen was supposed to pop up, and you spun to win some free play credits. Well, I played all night, and I got maybe about 1,500 points. I forgot to check on it, so I go check the next day, and I said, I never got the spin to win. And they said, sure you did. You got $3. We're showing it here. I'm saying I didn't even drink at that time. I wasn't high on anything. They wouldn't bend on it. They said I had the $3 and I used it. And it really made me kind of pissed. Luckily, I ended up walking away from Cosmo with about a $1,600 win because I hit for a little progressive of about $1,050 something, betting $1 in the middle of the night on some machine. And then I parlayed that and played a little bit longer and won another $500 or $600. And then they ended up comping off about $350 from our bill. So I took them for what it was worth, the $3 they said I had. So that really kind of rubbed me the wrong way, but hopefully it was just a one-issue thing. I don't know what y'all would have done about that, but I just let it go. And eventually in the end, I left Vegas a winner. So love the show as always, guys, and I hope to see y'all at Zorkfest. I'm excited.
Yeah, if it was just $3, I don't think I'd make a fuss about it. If it was a big amount, hey, I've got all this replay coming.
Well, but they said he got $3. He could have got more if he actually spun, right?
Maybe. When he was telling the story, it sounded like maybe they said you earned $3 in free play and you played it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It would really depend.
It's probably a printing error.
Exactly.
I wouldn't worry too much. It's like
destroying
a printing
America.
area.
That is good information about this. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, I love the way he started is, he hates New England, as should everybody.
As should everybody. That's true.
Even people who live in New England, God, I hate the Patriots.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, I know that's not true, but it'd be nice to hear one of them say that.
That is good information about the celebrations dinner, especially if you can get it at one property and use it at another in Las Vegas. We could probably use ours for 2018/2019 right now.
Right.
It certainly doesn't hurt. Hey, go up to Total Rewards desk and say, hey, do I have a celebration dinner coming?
We probably should get it out at Rincon and then print, they gave us $500 in $100 increments, right? And then every week just get $100 extra of food to take.
I guess we talked about this. How much water can I take home?
A lot.
I think I'd prefer to get some vouchers in Las Vegas and actually use them if we can go to a nice meal, something like that. Yeah.
Well, we can do that too.
I've got plenty of candy and water at home.
Mark, you can never have enough water.
I know. I was being
unless
silly.
you've reached your water limit.
Yeah, or if you're trying to reduce your water intake. I've heard that some people try to do that.
If you reduce your water intake, then just get candy. Yeah. It'll offset all the water.
That's right. I'm not trying to reduce my candy intake.
Who would do that?
No, nobody, of course. All right. Next up is Jason.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. It's Jason, a.k.a. Buffalo Yo, giving you a call. I know that Mark used my name as we talked about the February fever tier scores, and I just wanted to give you a quick update as I visited Harris Cherokee at the beginning of February. Harris Cherokee has a $5 Not So Ugly Deuces one-play video poker, 99.73% expected return. And I was fortunate enough to play 50,000 coin in on my first day and 50,000 coin in on my second day, which got me 30,000 total tier points and the extra 25,000 tier February fever. So I was able to earn 55,000 tier in 2 days. I was very fortunate enough that I only lost $50. Yes, it was very volatile, but it was a great time, and I'm very thankful that I only lost $50. What I want to do is I'm going to send you all an email for your next podcast, hopefully this coming weekend, and I'm going to show you, in my opinion, the easiest way to get to 7 stars. Thanks for all you do, and talk to you soon. Bye.
Great. Yeah, thanks, Jason. He sent me the email, and I actually posted it on our website. He lists what he considers to be the best 4 options for playing video poker throughout the country in an effort to increase your tier status through Total Rewards.
So the best 4 options being the best 4 places to play?
He actually lists the 4 places and the machines that you can play at those places.
Well, that's good information.
So yeah, it is good. You may not be close to one of those casinos, but maybe you are, and take a look at that. So again, I posted it on our website, and I'll also include a link to it in this episode's show notes. Yeah.
Okay, very good.
Okay, next call.
Hey guys, this is Ryan from Las Vegas, Nevada. Called last time with some killer tips, bet on the Patriots to win the Super Bowl. Hopefully none of you listened to me, because if you did, then you wouldn't be very happy right now, but that's exactly why I'm not a professional. You take your risks, and betting on the Patriots has made me good money to that point, but I did win some money because I bet on the Eagles were going to have more penalty yards than the Patriots, which they did by a long shot. Patriots only had 1 penalty again. And I bet on Gronk scoring 2 or more touchdowns, which I won. But overall, I did take a loss. When I cashed out the tickets that I did win, I went to the bar, ended up hitting a royal flush for $1,600, so that was good. Went and played on one of those shoot to win. Actually, it wasn't the shoot to win. It was just a, virtual craps, but it wasn't the shoot to win. Nobody pushed a button, just went on its own. A funny thing that I saw in there, I just put in, $50 to start, and I was playing $5 on the hard 6, and it hit. I quadrupled it. I put 20 on the hard 6 and it hit again. Then I had about 100 or so on the hard 6, and it hit again. And 100 was the max it lets you put on hardways in that game, and it hit 3 times in a row. So I made pretty good money. I tried to put another 100 on it for the next roll, 4 times in a row. I've never seen 3 times in a row, but it said that the number of hardways for 6 has been reached for that game. So I couldn't bet on hard 6 anymore. I could bet on all the other hardways, but no more hard 6. And I thought maybe I was just betting too much money. So I went back down to $5, and it says for this roll, you cannot bet on hard 6 anymore. So I guess 3 times is as much as it'll let it hit, and then it stops during a roll. So I don't know how that works. Maybe it's just for that game, but once again, it wasn't a shoot to win. It was just at one of these station casinos here in Vegas. Well, yeah, hopefully everyone had fun during the Super Bowl. I know it was a great game, but yeah, maybe you can let me know if you guys know anything about this craps game, or I don't know. But hopefully I'll talk to you guys soon. Still want to play craps with you. Thanks, guys.
I suppose it's a safety measure just in case there's something wrong with the...
Maybe it's just Ryan. Nope, you've reached your maximum number of hard 6s.
Do you think it's just Ryan?
Yeah,
he
just
put his
stand
card
up.
in.
Yeah.
That's enough, Ryan. Hit the bricks.
Hit the bricks. You've made your hard 6 bet.
I guess it's a safety feature, but 3 in a row, I mean, that's not absolutely
safety
crazy.
feature? What kind of
I don't
safety
know. I'm
feature?
trying to get, why would you implement something like that on the machine unless
Yeah.
you were paranoid that you'd created a machine that wasn't very good
Or that
at
the
randomizing the dice.
Yeah, maybe the machine had some kind of error, and like if it pays off 3 hard 6s, we can't do that anymore. Maybe there's some mechanical error. Is that what they're thinking?
I guess. I don't know. I've certainly never heard of anything like this before.
It sounds weird.
If it's that bad, the machine's probably bad to begin with. Honestly, doesn't it seem like that?
Yeah.
Like, what kind of safety measure is that? Maybe you should go back to the drawing board. If
a big tilt thing comes out. Tilt!
Yeah, tilt. Now I can understand. Everybody gets their bets back, right?
Yeah,
all right, clear the machine, everybody.
Yeah.
Right, all the workers come in to open it up and fix it.
Should you choose to bet another hard 6, your machine will self-destruct.
That's right. Get out of the way.
That just doesn't make any sense at all. I don't know what was going on there.
I don't
That's
know.
weird. Yeah, we've never heard of that,
No,
Ryan.
never heard of anything like that. Yeah, I wonder if they do it at a real table. Sorry, Dr. Mike. It's 3 in a row. That's the max.
That's the max. for
Something
you.
might be up with the dice, but we don't know. Where are we?
Get your hot tea with lemon and get the hell out of here.
All right, let's hear from Don. He's got a story for us.
Yeah, hi guys. My name's Don. I'm here in the car. We're driving with my son Colton. We're driving from Phoenix to Vegas, and we've been listening to your show for about a month or so, off and on, and catching up on all the old episodes, and we enjoying it. So, but we thought we'd call on our way to Vegas. I have a story for you. I went to back in 2006. I was up in Vegas and was at Mandalay Bay. It was early in the morning. I got up about 7:30 and went down tables. There was no one there, and started rolling. I'm a don't better. Sorry about that, but both of us are don't betters. We got that from our dad taught us, and I taught it to Colton, and now that's all we do. But all we do also is only
It's a
crap,
genetic
so that's
thing.
a good thing. But anyway, so I'm rolling. I usually don't get to roll, but I'm rolling and get a little bit into the roll, and all of a sudden I throw the dice down. One of them comes to an outcome, and the other one starts spinning like a top in the middle of the table, right in flat in the middle of the table. Spins and spins and spins, and finally starts slowing down, and then comes to a complete stop right on its point in the middle of the table. Pretty amazing. It took about 5 seconds for anybody to even understand that was happening. The dealer, pit boss, everybody was at the table I was at because I was the only one there. And before anybody would even say anything, it was kind of one of those things where you can't really even perceive it happening. So finally the discussion ensued, what do you do? They came up with 2 options. One of them was to re-roll, have me re-roll, or since there was nobody there, just knock the table a little bit and have it come to an outcome. So I decided to just knock the table, but then the discussions ensued, of course, on what, have they ever seen anything like that? And the guys had been there for 30 years and said they'd never seen anything like that. And, seen things like in, obviously in drinks, dice down, women's tops, things like that, men's pockets, but they've never seen it spin like a top and come to a point and stay. So, I tell that to people. I even tell that to dealers, and dealers do not believe me. It's amazing when I tell it to dealers. So anyway, I love your show. We'll, keep listening and, enjoy it. thanks for being there. We'd like listening to it. Take care.
So do you believe it, Mike?
Wow, I mean, he has no reason to lie to us.
Of course.
So I guess I'm going to say I believe that.
You'd think something would have to be up, though, with the die or the table. Like maybe it was spinning so fast that it made a little hole in the felt, to kind of rest on.
Exactly, yeah.
Or maybe it wasn't a sharp
anything
point.
in motion like that, when it comes to a stop, would just, unless everything was perfectly balanced, it would tend to fall,
Yeah,
right?
just a little. It doesn't take much, right? Just,
Right. Well, we had a similar instance at Rincon, remember, not too long ago, where one of the cards, they flipped it over and it just landed right on its side.
I don't remember that. I'm trying to remember now.
Just one of the cards.
I'm sure you're telling the truth. There's no reason for you to lie. So
I'm sure he said he saw it.
I'm sure so too. And you'd think something would have to be up though, because
it's weird. That's so weird.
Yeah.
I mean, but weird things happen, right?
Weird things happen. Remember when we saw that time where somebody rolled and the die landed right on the edge of the boat?
Yeah, right.
Where the dice container, right? Yeah.
Perfectly perched on the
like,
edge.
how?
Yeah,
right?
how does that happen?
How did it just land there? Wouldn't it have fallen off?
Yeah.
So...
Well, I'm always telling Lynn, don't ever bother to hang your pictures up straight in California.
Yeah.
I mean, the earth moves so much in California. Mm-hmm. It's always moving. Pictures always are off a little bit, right?
Yeah.
So you hang something up, you can get your measuring thing out, make it perfectly straight. Next day, it's crooked. See, that could never happen in California. Maybe in Nevada.
It's just so perfect. I don't know.
It's not too far from area.
Yeah, and they're always exploding atom bombs there. I think they still do that, don't they?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Sure.
I don't read the news much.
Well, isn't that how they got rid of the dunes?
It is true though, because now see that picture over there. That is a picture of the dog from Frasier, from the TV show Frasier. Right, that's an autographed picture
from the dog.
Yeah, from the dog. We met the dog. Yeah. All right, and I can never get it straight. Yeah, I always come down here and it's what's happening.
I tell Lynn this all the time. The ground is always moving in California. So, I mean, when you put a picture up, you just hang it crooked.
All right. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take a pair of dice tomorrow to work. And I've probably got something that's like felt at work. And I'm just going to try to balance it. Yeah. That's all I'm going to do all day long. Mark, you done with that build, that software build? Not quite. Hang on. I need some time.
3 weeks from now, your boss is going to call you in. You've got nothing done. What's going on? Are you having marital problems? Are you drinking problems, gambling problems? No, I'm just trying to get this die.
I'm so close. I'm so close.
Lock yourself in a room at work.
That's right. Who's in there?
Hello?
Why is the door locked?
McFly?
Quiet, McFly.
Oh, all right. We're getting off topic.
Okay. The next call. This is from Brian. It's the audio is it's a little hard to hear. The phone call wasn't real clear, but I think you'll get the gist of it here.
Hey guys, Brian from Southern California here. You were talking about the Westgate Hotel. Just wanted to warn everybody, it is timeshare hell. You literally have 3 timeshare salesmen between when you check in and when you get to your elevator. Basically, the only people staying there are timeshare, victims. The scariest thing is, if you think of how long it's been since they closed down the Star Trek exhibit, it's still there. I mean, the cool stuff, the exhibit itself is gone, but the room is still set up. There used to be a Star Trek casino that you had to walk through to get to the museum, and it's all still there. They just turned it into their timeshare sales pitch by putting in a bunch of chairs and tables. The bathrooms are still the same. You still walk past the same work court. When you walk down the shops, the row of shops on the way to the elevator, remember, if you ever remember the Star Trek exhibit, there was a very distinct arch shape for all the doorways. They're all built just amongst those arches. So you think of how long it's been. It's got to be nearly 15 years, 20 years now since that thing closed down, and nobody has bothered to refurbish any of that floor space. It's really kind of sad. So anyway, I found that interesting. I was a big fan of the old Star Trek exhibit. Love the show. Talk to you later.
Yeah, Westgate Resorts, who own the Westgate, it's primarily a timeshare company. So,
Right.
When they bought it, people figured this would probably happen. And yeah, that's the case. It is kind of too bad.
I'm not good with those things. Seriously, I have a hard time just walking away from them.
Oh, you mean people coming up and talking to you?
Yeah, and stuff like that, and you feel obligated, like you should listen or buy something. I have a terrible time with that. And I know people that, they'll go to those things and they'll just flat out just come out. No, we're not buying a timeshare. Give us our, steam
Free
cooker
TV or whatever. Yeah.
whatever. And we're out of here, and I just can't do that. So I avoid them like the plague.
Yeah. If you see them, you just, kind of cross the other side of the street.
Yeah. I'm not going to any timeshare thing.
Well, the Westgate, it's still got a great sports book. We haven't been there in a long time, but the sports book still has a great reputation. It's funny when Brian was saying, it's been like 15, 20 years since Star Trek's left. And I thought, that sounds about right. And I was looking into it today. It's only been 10 years.
2008.
2008. Yeah. So it does seem like it's been longer. I am glad we were able to go on that.
Well, there was some kind of time warp dimensional problem.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. Mike, the floor changed. When they transported us onto the Enterprise, I looked down, the floor had changed.
Yeah, that
freaked
cool.
me out. I almost threw up because I thought, wait, great, something's
You got that
happened.
queasy feeling.
Yeah.
The audio's gone bad or the floor changed.
We used to go to Westgate, back when it was the Las Vegas Hilton. We went back in the 80s. I remember taking my grandparents there. They had this deal. It was in December, so the real slow period, like the first part of December,
First
so
week.
a little bit before Christmas. And this was in 1988. And for $19.88 per person, you got 2 nights hotel room. That was just per person, not per night, just per person for the whole time. 1988, 2 nights plus 1 meal at any of the restaurants there. So we went to the expensive steakhouse and just oh man, my grandfather loved it.
Yeah,
it's like, what a deal.
What a
right?
deal. That is a good deal.
Yeah.
It's probably a misprint. You're probably taking advantage of a misprint.
Oh, I'm sure it was.
It's probably supposed to be $500 and no meal.
Yeah, you got to do that. All right, next call.
Hey guys, love the show. Long time, second time caller. Quick question I was just thinking of. When you are at a table, is there a hard minimum, I guess, between multiple people? So I guess, in other words, if you're at a $50 minimum table and you're betting 100, but your buddy's betting 10 and you're betting that consistently, does the house look the other way and say kind of what your average is? Or is it a hard cutoff line? This is your absolute minimum. And if not, what do you think the hypothetical times X it would be before they kind of look the other way and let your friend join in on that? So just something I was thinking of. All right, thanks.
All right, the short answer is no, that you would not be able to split between 2 bets.
Usually,
the minimum is going to apply to everybody at the table.
Yeah, usually.
That's the short answer. Now, the casino might make accommodations based on, the amount bet. Sometimes if it's a husband and wife, if it's clear that it's a couple.
Although we saw an instance, remember, where a wife was betting less and the husband was betting significantly more than the minimum. And he said to the pit, my wife wants to play, but she just wants to bet, like $10. And this guy's betting like 200 on the line. And they said no.
Well, no. Do you remember, Mike? At first they said yes.
Right.
They said yes and allowed her to do it for like a half hour.
Right. They did allow it. But then somebody came over.
Yeah, I don't know if it was the eye in the sky or somebody came and said, no, you can't do it anymore. So, again, rules can be broken like that, but don't expect that.
Yeah. I would say if we walked up to a craps table and it was completely empty and maybe the casino was kind of slow and there were 2 of us and we said, well, we're going to bet, $25, but our buddy here is going to bet 10. Is that okay? They'd probably say yes.
That is possible.
Now,
sure.
they might say if someone else comes up or other people come up, you're going to have to bet the 25 or
That's
whatever.
the thing. So it's really going to depend. I don't ever expect it.
Right.
But, if it's a $25 table and you're betting $1,000 a hand, and your friend wants to bet 10, well, maybe they'll let that slide. But
just have your friend bet 10 on your hand, right?
That's true.
I mean, we do that a lot.
Yeah, but then they're not playing their own hand.
I know.
Don't expect it. We certainly can't give you a number to say when it would happen. You can always ask. It's going to depend on a lot of things. The casino, the pit boss. Did he or she have a good day?
Right. Exactly. How they feel.
Yes. Yeah. So. All right. So here is Kegger's follow-up call. So we actually get to see how he did on his trip. Oh, and there's some bad audio in this too. This is not my fault. This is the way the call came in.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. It's Keggers from Minnesota. I'm just calling in with a trip report. My recent trip to Vegas. I'm here at the airport right now. I called in a couple weeks ago to ask for advice for a beginner craps player and what you guys would do, but you guys weren't able to answer because of the technical difficulties. That's okay. I appreciate the honesty. But I learned enough from your podcast to know how to handle myself at the tables and how to things like that. Stayed at Paris
and it was okay, but couldn't find a $5 craps table to save my life. Everything this weekend, even on Sunday morning and Monday morning, times like that, were all $10 or higher. So a little disappointing. I dabbled in, played blackjack for a while and got hammered in that. But it's funny, at Paris, nothing in the felt said 6-5 or 3-2, and really had to look really hard at the table minimum placard to see what the table paid. And even if you got up close to it, it's hard to read it. Even most tables had a stack of ashtrays blocking that, actually. So a few tables I couldn't even tell. I had to ask the dealer. And one dealer got miffed that I left immediately when learning it was 6-5.
Come on.
I got hammered when I played 3-2. Played $10 minimum craps, and it was fun, but a couple $100 bankroll didn't go very long, even with minimum pass line, full odds, and 2 combat. Had some bad rolls and didn't last very long. So it wasn't doing very well, and Saturday and Sunday it was down both days. So disappointed, but having a great time with my friends, and we had a good time. But kind of turned it around. Last day, did Dr. Mike, if I learned anything, it was hit the ATM if you're down and then keep going, and that's what I did.
Exactly.
And it ended up really well.
Exactly.
Dr. Mike's a doctor, so you have to listen to him, of course. Glad I did. Took $200 out of the ATM, looked for $5 table, couldn't find one, said, okay, I'll just play $10 and just play really single or double odds, really conservatively, just play 6 and 8, things like that. Played at the Cromwell, had a good time. Dealers were really nice. The one dealer was kind of not great, but everybody else was friendly. Ended up a couple hundred with my $200 buy-in, so that was good. Had a good time. Went over to Bally's and played $10, and again had a fun time. Deal was just okay, but finished up, had a couple really good rolls, and finished up a couple hundred again. So I'm thinking, great, I'm having a good day. It's having fun, things like that. But I went back. My wife was nursing a killer hangover. She thought she was in college this weekend. So went back while she was sleeping it off and went to Cromwell again to play $10 with my winnings. And I tell you, it went great. There's a shooter rolled for about 45 minutes. And not only did he make the all small, all tall, make them all, but he rolled several points even after he didn't make them all. So, a really good, really good roll. I know that that's the rarity rather than the rule, but as of my opening weekend of playing craps, that was a hell of a way to end it. So a lot of fun. Finished up on the weekend after being down 2 straight days, and just because of one really good day at craps today. So really, really enjoy and learned a lot from you guys, and I appreciate how you approach the game and how much fun you have with it, most importantly. So thanks for that. I live in Minnesota where we don't have craps, so I don't know when I'll play again, but certainly looking forward to the next time I can play. And love your show. Keep it up, guys, and talk to you later.
If you run out of money, go to the ATM.
Mark, I've been telling you for years.
What?
If the casinos, they hide those ATMs in dark corners and stuff because they know that you get over there and get some more money, you're getting your money back.
Boy, if there's an increase in problem gambling in the next few years, I know who to complain to.
God. Got a problem? Blame Dr. Mike.
That's right. That's the pamphlet. Yeah, right. Don't blame us. Blame Dr. Mike.
It's not our fault.
Caesar's Entertainment.
We try and hide those ATMs.
Oh, jeez. All right.
Why don't they have craps in Minnesota?
Oh, I don't know.
Seriously, they could get around the law like they do here in California.
I don't know. That's a good question. Maybe they could, but nobody's just taking the time to do it.
Yeah, maybe not. Yeah. They have plenty of casinos.
I don't know. The law might actually be different too. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll have to look into that.
Yeah,
I'm going to figure that out.
Okay, good. Yeah, let us know in the next show.
If I move to Minnesota, I don't want to go someplace with no craps.
Okay. Yeah, you keep talking about moving to Minnesota. It's too cold there.
It's coming.
Yeah.
It's
all right.
coming.
Okay. All right. We love Minnesota, though, of course.
Yeah.
So,
I do.
Yeah, I know you do. All right. One last call. You're talking about misprints. Yeah. All right. Now, here's a good story.
Hey, guys. Great show. I just started listening to your podcast, and it's a really good show. I'm kind of working myself through your shows backwards, but I want to leave a message. My name is Julio. I'm over in California, too, so when I get out to Vegas, I really take advantage. 2 quick stories. I was hearing something about when dealers make mistakes, so I had a quick story on that. It's not a dealer, but a sports book. I was actually at the Atlantis in the Bahamas, and this was a couple of years ago. I placed a wager on a LA Laker game. I think it was the Lakers against the Pelicans. It was in LA, and in the Bahamas, we're a few hours ahead, so the Laker game didn't really start till like 10 p.m. or something like that in the Bahama time. Anyways, I placed a bet at $220 to win $200 on the Lakers. They were underdogs. It was a +5 advantage I got or something like that. Anyways, it turns out I didn't have phone service, but I ran up to my room and I timed it to see what time the game would end. Checked on my computer, and sure enough, it was ending. I lost the bet. Lakers lost by like 8 points. I go back downstairs. Sportsbook's closed. I usually throw my tickets away. I saw that the scoreboard was backwards. It had the Pelicans losing and the Lakers winning. The sportsbook was closed, but they told me they could cash it at the cage. So I quickly went over to the cage and I cashed the ticket, and they gave me the money. Obviously, the Lakers didn't win. By the time I got back to the sportsbook, which is a small sportsbook there, I looked, they had corrected the score. So I just got in the nick of time. So that was a mistake they did.
That's a great story.
I got paid on that.
That's pushing the house, maybe.
That was something I got lucky on. The second thing is really quick. I was at my last trip in Vegas. I hurt my foot. Funny, I heard your podcast about one of you hurting your foot.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually was walking back to my hotel because I was too desperate to wait for a cab or something. So I started walking to our hotel, and I was walking between Harrah's, and I was going through the link, and I saw the craps table. They had stools there that you could sit at the table. So I said, well, I might as well play. I'm hurting, but I might as well play. So I sat there. I was sitting next to a stick man. I saw the table was cold, so I started betting on the don't pass line. And then what I did was I basically took my initial don't pass line bet, put that on whatever number that went to. I put odds on it. Then I put on the don't come box, which was on the corner next to the dealers directly in front of me. And if 3 numbers came up, I would put odds on those numbers. I would lay on those numbers, and the suitor would 7 out. Then I'd collect. So it was hard for me to reach over. The dealer was putting the chips over on the box. I kept trying to reach over, trying to grab them. A couple of times, the dealer would just hand them over to me, and then he switched dealers, and then the next dealer, he wouldn't give them to me. I said, okay, pass them to me. He says, oh, there's a self-service area. You need to get up and come grab them, grab your winnings. He seemed really upset that I was betting there and I kept winning there. So he, I was sitting on a stool next to the stick man, but he wanted me to reach over or walk around and grab it. So I said, okay, fine. I took my chance on that, but I just wonder if you guys ever experienced, or have you guys ever heard of, hey, this is a self-service area, you got to come and grab, which I guess technically it is, but, I just thought it was a little bit rude on their end. Anyways, that was it. Great show, guys. Have a good day.
You will find dealers who hate don't players.
Yeah.
And they shouldn't. And this was just a dealer treating you badly because you were playing the don't.
Right.
Yeah, a self-service area. Okay, yeah, it's a self-service area. But you're right next to the stick.
The whole table's pretty much a self-service area, except for like place bets and stuff, right?
Well,
I mean, you make a come bet.
It's true, but at least with the come, pretty much everybody can get to it. The don't come is typically, right up there by the 10 or the 4, depending on what side of the table you're on.
Right.
And not everybody can get to it easily. Yes, if you're a don't player, maybe you'll stand there because you're close to it, but maybe there's no room there.
Yeah.
This is just
next
a dealer.
Next time, Julio, you go there with a stick, with a crab stick. You can just reach across.
Bring your own stick.
Self-service. Bring your own stick.
That's a good idea.
You bring your own towel, they should bring your own stick.
A good dealer is going to give you. Well, how often do you see dealers who, let's say there's a 7 out and you had a come bet in the come?
Yeah.
Well, they pay the come bet and maybe they just leave it there and leave it to you to get. But a lot of times they'll pay the come and then they'll stack it up and just put it right in front of you.
Right in front of you.
That's just good service.
Well, it's courtesy too.
And they should be doing the same thing for don't players. But that's just the reality of it. Is don't players get a lot of discrimination, and sometimes it comes from the crew.
Yeah, it's kind of funny too. I mean, because I'm dealing craps. Why would I care how anyone plays?
I agree, but look at
I get just as much enjoyment when the points were made and the don't guy loses as when the points aren't made and the don't guy wins.
Look at Lorenzo.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, right.
A dealer we used to have here in Southern California. He hated it when I would bet the don't.
Oh God,
he hated it. And so I really gave it to him. Right. I said, hey, Lorenzo, bet the don't, because I knew it'd drive him crazy.
We don't do it that often.
No.
I don't at all, but you do it occasionally.
Every once in a while.
And so what? I mean, why would anyone care?
Then you know how it is. Okay, actually, we have one more call that's pertinent to you. I forgot about it. Let me play that real quick.
All righty.
Hey, guys. It's Daniel from Louisville, Kentucky. I was calling because I believe next weekend is when Dr. Mike is supposed to be coming up to Louisville here to go to Horseshoe, Southern Indiana. We are experiencing crazy river flooding, and I got an email yesterday that Horseshoe had to close down due to high water levels. I know right now the projections are that the water is supposed to continue to rise through Tuesday. and they don't know beyond that, depending on the forecast of more rain and all that stuff. So I was just calling to give you a heads up. You probably already know, but I was just calling to give you a heads up so that you know you might not be able to go to Horseshoe Southern Indiana. I hope it works out, though, and if it does, I will definitely be there to play craps with you. All right, talk to you guys later. Thanks.
Right, so what's the status
hey,
right
Daniel.
now?
So, thanks for the update, but it is Wednesday night here. We're recording.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's February 28th.
February
right now.
28th. And my wife called on Monday, so the 26th, in the afternoon. There's only a recording from the casino.
Okay, right.
There's nobody answering phones.
Sure.
So she went online to their website. They have a camera. It was like a picture from 5 hours prior.
A delay, okay.
Yeah, and man, it is flooded.
Yeah.
It was crazy flooding.
Yeah.
The hotel is kind of up on the hill. And from those aerial views, you can't really tell the hill. But yeah, it is a ways. And then the boat's down on the water, but the hotel, and it was flooded all the way up to the hotel.
Yeah, wow.
And it was pretty steep, if I remember. I'm thinking, God, that's a lot of water.
Yeah.
And you couldn't see the road. The road was
I heard
all,
the road was washed out.
the
Yeah.
road was all washed out. So there's no way to even get there.
Yeah.
So, obviously nobody's answering the phone
Yeah,
because
right.
unless they got a boat to get there. So as of today, we made reservations at another hotel kind of in Louisville.
Because you're actually leaving next week on the 9th.
Thursday.
Okay,
Yeah,
Thursday.
we're leaving
night.
a week from tomorrow.
Okay, all right. Okay.
And
so I
we'll
guess
be-
that's the 8th.
Yeah, we would have been there Thursday night, Friday, Saturday, and we're coming back on Sunday, like
Okay.
in the afternoon.
Okay.
We still plan on going to the Horseshoe if they're open.
Sure. Okay.
But we
right.
went ahead and made reservations because we still have to go on our trip. So
Right.
we have another hotel.
Yeah, this is a wedding you're going to, so
Yeah.
it's not like it's a trip just to go to the Horseshoe. Yeah.
No, if it was just the Horseshoe, we'd probably just cancel it.
Yeah.
But we have to go to this wedding. And so we made reservations at another hotel, and we'll cancel those at the last minute if Horseshoe opens because we'd rather stay there.
Sure.
Yeah. So if we go, Mark says in front of my wife, he says, yeah, and if the casino's closed, you're just going for a wedding. How terrible is that? It's our great niece.
I'm not embarrassed for saying that. It's the truth.
It is the truth. I mean, I'm thinking that, but I don't want to come right out and say it.
I said it for you. You can't say it to your wife. That'd be terrible.
That'd be terrible.
But your friend can. Let her be mad at me.
Yeah. No, she knows it. But yeah, we'll still go for the wedding and see
Yeah.
all the family and
Yeah.
everything too. But,
All right. Well, certainly I'll tweet on your behalf, and I know there's some listeners who want to meet up with you.
Yeah,
and hopefully,
and
it'll
hopefully
open
we're
up.
gonna
But,
be there.
it's not just a matter of the water going away, but the cleanup and everything
It's
too.
the cleanup
so, yeah.
afterwards, and I don't know how well that goes. I was wondering about that. I mean, I know that's happened before.
Sure.
Obviously, they're on a river, but wouldn't they immediately put sandbags out around the hotel?
Well,
But
I'm sure, but
maybe
Mike,
it's
you
so
saw
much
that
water.
flooding. It's not sandbags aren't going to do anything. How many sandbags do you want?
Force field? Didn't they got some kind of
maybe
force
a force field,
Shouldn't
yeah.
every casino have a force field?
That's coming. Yeah, that's coming. It's R&D. All right. Some upcoming events. So we've talked about this before, but Gamblepalooza is coming up the weekend of April 20th. We're going up there to see Cousin Vito and everybody up in that area in Connecticut.
Right.
We're going to be going there.
I am really looking forward to that.
Yeah, that's great. We've never been to Foxwoods or Mohegan Sun, so that's the weekend of April 20th. Also, Zork Fest, don't forget, that's May 25th through the 27th, and we're going to be taking part in the Podcasters After Dark event, which is that Saturday night. Don't forget, get your tickets right now. Use promo code ZORKBET, ZORKBET. That's a promo code. You can get $10 off. I think on the last episode I said like prom. I pronounced it wrong. I don't know what I said. Terrible audio last week. It was terrible. It's promo code.
It's like FOMO.
Also, one more thing. There's a new podcast that just came out this week. It's called The Better Life. And better is spelled BETTOR. The Better Life. It's a new podcast from Timothy Lawson. And the idea behind the podcast, it's a gambling podcast, but it's more like, what is it like to be a gambler? What's the lifestyle? How are we wired? What is it about gamblers and what we do? So check that out. In fact, there's even a special guest on episode number 2.
Is it a gambler?
It might be a gambler. Yeah. He actually said he wanted you on the show too, separate. And I told him, "Oh, Dr. Mike, I told him you were technically clueless." So,
Right.
But he said,
Thanks.
he said, "Well, does Mike have a smartphone?" I said, "Yeah." So maybe he'll set up a call with you
Yeah,
and he
he
can
can
talk to
call
you about
me.
that.
Yeah.
So maybe you can get on the show. So.
You know, he could go through my wife. She could do everything.
Oh, I know. Yeah, maybe just set you up on Skype or something.
Yeah, she'll set me up on Skype.
Or you know what, Tim? Why don't you just interview Dr. Mike's wife?
Yeah.
That might actually be a way better interview.
Yeah, it might be a great interview. How does she do it? How does she put up with him?
All right, that's going to do it for this episode. We want to thank some people for some PayPal donations. First of all, Brian and Sarah, thank you for your recurring donation. Also from Brian, thanks very much. A different Brian. Also, Lori, she says, thanks for making my commute funner. Well, there you go, Dr.
Funner.
Mike. Yeah, funner.
I like Lori.
Yeah. And finally, from Janisha, she says, love the podcast. You helped start my love for craps. I am even working on a craps website. Ooh. I'm going down to Harrah's on Saturday. Wish me luck and keep up the good work. Oh, she might have been there when we were there this last Saturday.
Yeah,
I wonder if she was there.
Yeah.
Well, Janisha, if you come down again, we're usually there on Saturday night. Come up to the craps table.
Yeah. I mean, and if you can't pick us out, which probably is not that hard to do, but if you can't pick us out, just ask any craps dealer, where's Mike and Mark?
Yeah, and they'll point you in the right direction. They'll say, oh, they're having a bad night. They're in the buffet.
Right.
That's the way it's been recently.
Yeah, recently we've spent some time in the buffet. Penalty time.
Yeah, penalty time. Hey, be sure to check out our TV listings showing all the gambling-related shows coming up within the next 2 weeks. We update those listings every Wednesday using a customized program that searches through all the raw American TV data. Just go to youcanbetonthat.com/TV-listings. We'd love to hear from you. Call our voicemail hotline at 951-292-4377. That's 9512-WAGERS. Or you can email us at youcanbetonThat@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Twitter at youcanbetonThat and on Facebook at facebook.com/youcanbetonThat. And finally, please go to your favorite podcast app and write a review on us. We love getting your feedback. So by the next episode, you will have gone to, hopefully, Horseshoe, Indiana. You'll be able to tell us all about that.
Yeah.
What else you got going,
good.
Dr. Mike?
Well, we got all the stuff coming up in April, May, June. I mean, we're just loaded with stuff. I'm going to go to actually Vegas in April.
That's right. First part of April.
First part of April. Then we're going later, right?
Yep.
In April and then later in May. So we've got a ton of stuff going on. And I was thinking about this the other day. And honestly, I think about these things. As crazy as the world is now, all the stuff that's going on, political and, guns. And I mean, you can go, it just goes on and on and on. It's nice that we have something to take our minds off all that. Because when we go to the casino, seriously, I mean, the whole time we're there, I'm thinking about craps.
I know.
Maybe a buffet, but usually when I'm in the buffet, I'm still thinking about craps.
Well, I mean, that's the whole thing, right? We're recreational gamblers.
Yeah, and
right?
I think that's what the world needs. Seriously, people need to...
Diversions or...
well... Good diversions. I mean, I don't want to say, diversions because I don't want somebody getting high.
Okay,
on,
maybe not the right
cocaine or
maybe not the right word.
Maybe
but
not
sure.
the right word, but something that they can just relax and take their mind off, have a little fun, and maybe that gets them through the rest of the week when all the craziness.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Because you can't ignore the craziness.
No, of course
you got to
not.
go to work, and you've got to have, we all have family problems or deaths in the family, things like that. But you need something to get you through all that.
Yep.
And sometimes it's just as simple as a matter of going and playing a couple hours craps or video poker or slots or whatever it is that floats your boat, or maybe it's other things. People have other activities. I don't know why, but some people have other activities. And it helps that our wives are so supportive of us.
Yeah, great. They're great about it. Yep.
Because they support. I mean, there's not that many wives, I would say, in America who would let their husbands, every Saturday go to the casino.
Yeah, and come home at some ungodly hour.
Wake them up, and explain everything that happened at the casino.
So then I rolled a 7, and then the dice went to the next guy. And
I always tell Lynn everything. I come home and tell her, there was this weird guy doing this, and there's that, and it's like 3:30 in the morning, and we've got to get up at 5. And she's like, "Aren't you gonna?" And I can't sleep because I'm wired.
You're all excited. Yeah,
I got a belly full of rolled tacos, and I've drank about 12 Mountain Dews.
That's right. Maybe we've got more problems than we think.
I don't know. We probably do, but we roll.
Yep, we roll.
We roll.
Oh, that's going to be our shirt now. We roll. Oh my gosh.
That's it. That's our new thing. We roll.
We roll. Thanks for listening.
Good night.
Mark, that was wonderful. I had no idea you were so talented. The audience is going to love you.